you should be proud about what you've built. Whether somebody else sees this value in or not, I will stand up to you all day long to tell you what we have here is special. Right? And how this thing is going to shape out in the future is not in your control. But can you continue to keep your energy levels and your motivational level high enough that this asset is going to be always valued at what they bought it at? That's what we can control.
Now I'd like to call upon Raj Mruthyunjayappa and Mudit on the dais for our session on Power On for Leaders. Can we give a round of applause, please?
Well, the session belongs to Raj. Okay, I've just come here to escort him, and so Raj, just go ahead, and I'll be in the audience.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see. There's a lot of people at the back who are still not woken up on a Sunday morning. Is that right? What are you guys doing on a Sunday morning here? Really? I mean, I'm asking the question, what are you guys doing here on a Sunday morning? You didn't have anything better to do in life than think about careers? Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night? Yeah. I mean, this just seems like such a lame thing to do. Career is such a dumb thing, right? So, well, I'm sure this is, I got filled in about this event, and I was actually amazed. Just listening to Jilik was, she was here yesterday. She was filling me up on the engagement this team is having, the crowd, and how you're going about it. And I think this is such an important and a relevant conversation today. And I think this conversation is even more important considering what's happening globally. How many of you are following the news on AI? Not bad. I mean, I thought that's such a small news, and I'm glad you're catching it up. How many of you are hearing the news on Donald Trump? Okay, that's very good. That's also relevant, right? How many of you are hearing the news about the idea that GCCs are now thing of past? Wow, suddenly everybody is quiet. Okay, I will tell you why. It's just the definition of GCCs. GCCs won't go anywhere. The definition of GCCs will change. I'll talk more about that. So let me actually give you a bit of introduction about myself. How about that first, right? You'd like to know who the heck am I? So how many of you have started your job as a software professional? Okay, that's very good. It could be any job, right? You started as a young person as a software professional. I did. I started as a software professional. I joined a company called Aditi Technologies. Any of you are old enough to know that company? Some of you know this? Okay. So I started the company, and then I went off to US. I lived there for some time. And then I joined a company called Talisma. People have heard of Talisma? Okay, some more. It actually defines the age here. I'm asking this question so I know age profile. So I joined them, and I actually joined them as one of the engineers. I used to do account management. I joined them as an account manager. And I can tell you this, fast forward 20 years later, I own Talisma. Okay. I mean, is that possible? Right? Is that possible? I mean, you think about people, founders, like founding companies, right? I mean, you can sit at home and find a company. Yeah, I say founder, I'm a founder, I found a company. But it takes a different thinking and a mindset to actually say, I want to acquire the company I work for. Right? And it takes a different energy level. It takes a different whole thing. So I have tried to capture some of that, what has happened in my book called Power On. Okay, and I've got a few copies of this, and as we go through here, and I think I have 45 minutes is what I've told, and as I go through this, I'm going to give away a few of these copies based on the questions I'm going to ask and how engaging you guys are. How about that? Right? It's not indefinite copies. I only have 10 copies, okay? So you guys should know that. Okay, so let me actually, and by the way, this session is going to be about energy. Okay, so just the only thing I always tell before I start my session, make sure you do not hit each other's. Okay, but I mean, you're going to do some things which you may accidentally hit each other's, right? So make sure you kind of stay away from each other, don't hit each other's, but you're not going to be sitting through my session. You're going to have some action-packed conversation. Okay, so Let me talk about energy. Let me talk about energy. Why is this? All of you heard of energy? Okay, energy is a source, is the core of everything. So here is how I define the management philosophy. You are only as good a manager or a leader as good as you know how to manage your energy. And managing energy is the most important thing in your professional setup. You tend to approach everything with the same level of intensity. Right? You tend to approach everything with the same level of intensity. You kind of think that everything is important. How do you prioritize? Oh, everything. Right? And how do you prioritize your life? Oh, everything about work, then it's family. Right? So you kind of think that energy is, I have to be going there, energy. But here is how I define energy. There are some things that energizes you to things. What are those things? Like, feeding your dog could be the most happy thing that you do. Right? How many of you own dogs? Some of you have dogs, okay? Do you feel like taking a dog on a walk or feeding a dog or cuddling the dog is a happy thing? Okay, how many of you play sports? Okay, does it energize you when you play sports? You love sports, you sweat it out, you like it, you energize it, okay? So everyone has something that energizes you, right? Do you all have something that energizes you? Life can't be that boring that, every day you have nothing that energizes you. Something energizes you. It could be time spent with your kid. It could be anything. So I call these things as what I say, happy box. I love doing this. I'm happy doing this. And I almost feel I do everything else for this. Do you all relate to that? Right? Happy box? Okay. So then there is something called duty box. Right? Which is like, oh, I have to do this because I'm paid money or because I am a father, because I am told I am this. So you kind of start doing this because you own a title. I mean, the title is not just about work, it's also about social setup, it's also about this. So there are certain titles that you own and you think that these are duty boxes that I have to go through. Then there is something called idling time. It's an idle. So you have no reaction to what is going on. You'll be just like idling. You sit in a meeting, you're just idling in a meeting. You're just letting things happen as it happens. And everyone goes through this, by the way. If you think you're exceptional, you don't go through this, you're wrong. Everyone goes through this. These are 3 phases in a daily life that happens. What are the 3 things? Let's try this. Happy box, duty box, and idling, right? Your day is defined by this. It's about how you manage it. How you take the energies from your happy box and you can spread it through the day. That's what defines a happy box. And I'll tell you my own experiences and what I would do. I actually plan my day knowing that. By the way, I'm an avid sportsman, right? I mean, for me, if I don't sweat 2 hours in the morning, I just don't think my day is complete, right? And so whether I do a yoga and a run or a tennis or golf, something. Golf is never 2 hours; it's 5.5 hours. So you can do any of those things, and it energizes me, and I carry that energy to everything else that I do. Have you noticed some people when they walk into the room, the energy just goes up? Have you noticed that? Right? Some people just walk in, and everybody's like, and what do you think is the difference between that person and the person that walks in quietly and sits in the corner of the room? They both are as smart, by the way, don't get me wrong. They're not any less smarter than the other person. But one person walks in and energizes the room. The other person walks in, they're just there. Right? The presence will not even be there. Have you all thought about this? Have you thought about how you are, by the way? Just put that in context, how you are. Are you the person that walks into the room and just everybody wakes up and lightens up when you walk in? And I think the important thing here is how you brought that energy when you walk into the room. Right? And that is such an important part of being a leader.
Are you a mid-career leader who wants to earn 1 crore or who wants to become a CTO, a CIO, a CDO, a CISO, a CFO, a CRO, or any other C-suite or CXO role?
The road to the CXO is something that I know and I can teach you. So don't delay, click on the link below, and I'm going to see you in the masterclass. Look forward to seeing you there.
It is such an important part of being a leader. Because no 2 meetings are about talking about excitement. No? Not every meeting is about people coming in and saying, "Oh, life is great." So what is it about? You know what? What comes to my day? My day. If I think, but okay, I work about 8-9 hours a day. 7.5 hours of that is about some trouble. It is not something somebody coming to me, it's life is exciting. They won't come to me for that. Right? They're going to only come to me saying, oh, it's broken, this happening, world is falling apart. You only hear these things, no? How many of you have, you're middle-aged, so kids are a little grown up now. Did you, when you're younger, the kids were younger, you would go through these moments, like, like you get angry with the kid, and then that one moment that kid smiles, like, oh, it's all worth it. Have you all experienced it? Right? And so, leadership is that, management is that. You don't get to actually have smiling and walking around every day. It's not every moment is not about happiness. The moments are about energy. It's about how you manage that energy even in the toughest of the situation. So I'll give you an example, and by the way, this kind of relates to how, why I eventually ended up buying Talisma. So I was actually, we were a funded company, we are a venture funded company, and we used to work with some of the large venture funds out of US. So we were ready for a sale. The venture fund said, listen, I got to exit. So you got to go figure out how we're going to exit. And my then CEO, so we were part of a leadership team. We kind of designed this and said, okay. So we distributed the work. My then CEO said, Raj, I think you should get back to India. Get the whole India team decked up for sale. You know what's a decked up for sale means? You know what that means? Trim out all the parts that we think are going to be cost and, like make sure that it's all prettied up and P&L looks good and, multiples have to be better, right? So that's what it means, right? Deck it up. So, and say, okay, going to do this. And then, somebody else took Europe, somebody else took US. So we all kind of distributed our work and said, okay, let's all come back here in 3 months and say, now we all decked up. What does the valuation look like? Right? So we were all ready, we were all set to go, and this happened. And then we finally sold this company. And so we kind of said, okay, great, sold the company. I'm actually out there, day one. Now we've flown in, new VC fund, new VCs. I'm sitting there, and then we're having a conversation. What do you think, Mr. VC? What do we think we should do next? I mean, this is a larger company, global brand. And the first thing that CEO tells me, Raj, I just don't want India. And I'm looking at his face and what do you mean? No, I don't want India. Then what do you want to do with all the people and the customer? I'll leave it to you, figure it out. I said, okay, this is new. I mean, I didn't anticipate this one, right? And I wasn't ready to take on this company then. I mean, this was like 10 years ago, and I was like you, sitting in the mid-career level, and I'm thinking, damn, I mean, now what do I go back and tell hundreds of people sitting in India? I come in here and I'm like, okay, and these guys are like, okay, new company, boss is going to come with new ideas, we're going to grow, I'll be leader, think about what's going to happen, right? If I tell you that, look, your company is going to get acquired by Microsoft, what do you think is going to happen in your head? Ting, 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 all this money, and then dollars are running in your head, right? And then I have to come back here and start to give an explanation about what's going to happen. So me as a leader, energy, I can't come here and walk like this. Guess what, guys? Right? Neither can I come and say, yeah, look what happened. So what do I do? Right? And my whole plane journey was about thinking this. What do I go and tell them? What do I actually tell this team? Because it's not like I can dissolve the company. We kind of went back, the previous CEO and I decided to say, we got to find another buyer for just the India piece of it. Right? And we got to do something with it. I mean, this is too big, this is too good a deal for us to do something. So we went back and actually rethought about this. We kind of replanned and restructured. That's the work going on at the back end. But I can't create panic with the employees and everybody else. So when we came in here, we kind of said, okay, let me have a conversation. So I called in all the leaders, the India leadership team, and I actually told them, you should be proud about what you've built. You should be absolutely thrilled about what you've built. Whether somebody else sees this value in or not, I will stand up to you all day long to tell you what we have here is special. Right? And how this thing is going to shape out in the future is not in your control. But can you continue to keep your energy levels and your motivational level high enough that this asset is going to be always valued at what they bought it at? That's what we can control.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mudit Saxena. I'm your Global CXO Leadership Coach. I help mid-career leaders like you build leadership skills so that you're able to get to very senior levels. And if you're interested in becoming a global CTO, a CIO, a CISO, a CDO, CFO, CMO, or any other C-suite role, then I'm the right person to work with. And there are links in the description below. Have a look, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
How do we control this? How do we continue to develop this energy? How do we continue to develop this in the future? So I had to get this team motivated, go to the next level from there and get that team motivated. And guess what? It took us about 4 or 5 months to figure it out. We eventually became part of a larger conglomerate. It went on to become, anthology towards the end. Fast forward 10 years later, it was valued at $4.6 billion company. And so this was like one of the largest edtech companies worldwide. It grew on there. And then this thing that day when somebody told me that, listen, I don't want the India, I don't want the Talisma, never went away from my heart. It stuck with me. That card, that what we have built here, I thought it was always special. And that AI thing just triggered something in me. Why don't I go and actually buy this and build this company, transform this company to an AI company? And the 10-year of my, I would say, the core belonging of this made me stretch myself, and actually I put a bid as a management buyout to buy out the India business, the brand, the people, the customers, and everything. And they first rejected the model, right? They said, you must be crazy. I mean, no. We want to just be an employee and keep working. You have some equity, you have stocks, so where do you want to do this? And when I went back to the third time around and said why this is better for them, they eventually agreed and actually sold that part of the business to me. Right? And of course, the people who are with me then, 10 years ago, the leadership team is still there with me today. Right? And I think this is not a story about me. This is a story about that whole leadership team. This is a story about how they held their nerves together through those challenges and actually got to that point. And every time I actually meet the mid-levels, aspirational, senior level leadership teams, here is what I tell you. This is not what you think. Somebody else who was invested in you is actually thinking differently. Right? Your plans can never align with their plans. If you think in a private equity fund is actually thinking about your well-being, anybody in the private equity group, don't throw something at me, please. So if you think that they're thinking, oh, you're there? Okay, don't throw something at me. So if you're thinking that it is going to be about employees and well-being and about, no. It is about valuation. Incidentally, having a happy employee base is important. But it is about, what is it about? Valuation. And valuation is not profits. Valuation is what IP you own, what culture you have within the company. There are many things to a valuation. That's what it is about. So all through this journey, as you go through this as a mid-level, it is difficult for you to think there. It's difficult for you to think what they're thinking. You understand that? The challenge is thinking. If you are sitting in the boardroom and you hear what they're saying, maybe half your problems are solved. The problem is you're not sitting in the boardroom. You're not listening to what they're saying. You're just thinking they're one-dimensional people. Guess what? Let's put this in context. A venture fund or a PE fund is not that they're taking their back pocket money and putting to you. Where are they getting the money from? That's not their money. Where are they getting money from? Where are they getting the money from? Retirement funds. So these are funds that are sitting out there which have large institutional money. Think about like borrowing money from LIC and putting it into your company. You think they can compromise on the LIC fund? That's your in future retirement fund. You think you can compromise on the retirement fund? You can't. So they have the pressures of delivering to something completely different. And hence, sometimes you feel like you are the scapegoat in the middle of this. But if you sit in those boardroom meetings and kind of listen to it, you'll say, that's interesting. And maybe your way of how you work and engage is going to be different. So I always say, think like a board member. Think like a CEO every day that you walk into work. Why would your CEO say, don't double guess? What made the CEO say this is what you have to guess. Sometimes, it's such a subtle difference, right? Some CEO says, oh, this year our sales are looking very good and we are actually going to be doing really well. And next thing, what's the salary hike look like? Oh, that's not connected. You're thinking, why is that dude not connected? How is this not too connected? Well, you got to say, why did he say that? Is sales really looking up? If it isn't, why is he saying that? He knows something more than you know. And if you can actually figure that out, you are the superhero. If those people who actually can figure that out are the people who know how to bring your energy to the right places. If you can actually walk into the room with confidence that I know what this is about. Right? You say sometimes, how many of you attend like a product review meeting? Wow, that's a lot of people, right? You attend a product review meeting. How many times do you think it's about the product? I mean, you think CEO is sitting in a product review meeting. You think it's about product? No, he has a VP of engineering for that to tell him product is doing well or not. Why is your CEO sitting in the meeting? You got to figure that out. If you can figure out why your CEO came into product meeting, then you know exactly what you're going to say in the meeting. You know exactly the 5-minute spiel that you have, what energy you will get up and say with. Problem is, you just go through your routine. CEO is there, 5-minute pitch I have, I'm going to stand there and say, oh, my product is doing really well, employees are happy, blah, blah, blah. It's never about that. It was about the CEO is thinking, I am going to go talk to my investors to raise another $100 million. And can I take some stories out of here? Can I take some inspirations out of here? Tell me something. I was speaking to the previous speaker here, and he said he's done sales. And I have done sales all along as well. So I was relating to this. You know, sometimes I sit in this product meeting just to hear one thing they tell me, just one thing, right? And that's good enough for me to go talk to next 100 clients. And I'm going to say, guess what we're doing in the future? And sometimes these engineers regret calling me for those meetings. They're like, oh my God, you should never come to my meeting. I mean, I just said AI and you just made a story on this. I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? That's why I came to that meeting for. I want some inspiration to go and talk to the customers who I feel I'm threatened by, that they're going to go away, they're not going to be customer, or that somebody's, I need some inspiration. So if a CEO ever comes to your product review meeting, please know he's coming for an inspiration, not to actually look at whether you're good or bad. Good or bad can be told by VP engineering, right? So what can you do to take this energy to this? Okay, now let me come to what I want to tell you about. So you are in, have you all of you watch cricket? I mean, there's one match today, isn't it? Okay, so you watch a cricket match and there's like this huddle that they do before they get in. What can they be doing? What can you talk that you've not spoken on the dressing room? Have you thought about it? Like in 2 minutes, like suddenly you're just talking strategy. What are you talking? Have you thought about this? You're energizing, right? What is that confirmation? What is that they're telling to each other? You can do it. All the best, focus. Boosting up. Commitment. Okay. What else can they be saying? Let's beat the opposite team. Let's take them down. There for each other. Okay. Do your best. See, there's no bad answers in this, right? There's no bad answer in this. But you know what most of the huddles are about? Most of the huddles are about people telling each other that we are in this together. We're in this together. We are 11 people being evaluated by 1.4 billion people. You may drop a catch, you may have a great day, you may have a less day, but we are in this together. And that is what that huddle is. And sometimes that last minute positive reinforcement can change the way the person performs on the field. So it is not strategy, it's energy. If that's what is energy, how many of you do this every day? You do it? Some of you do it? So how many of you walk into the room and as soon as you walk in, you have everybody sit here and say, let's energize ourselves before we start the meeting. How many of you do this? By the way, you'll be, so I have been in management for I don't want to tell my age, but it's long enough. And when I walk into my meeting, it is never about business to start with. It's always about something personal. Like I talk about, I'll tell them about my golf game yesterday. Or I'll ask somebody to tell about their trip because I know they have traveled somewhere, gone somewhere. We always talk about that. And we always find what a pleasure that was for them. How much fun it was. Because most of the time you're not sitting here to listen about, I'm going to give my update, you're going to give your update. I mean, how many of you don't know those updates before you went into the meeting? You'll be shocked, right? 9 out of 10 times you can almost say he's going to say this, he's going to say this. but you still sit and go through the routine? Don't you? How many of you questioned this? Have you all questioned this? You want to be a leader? You got to question this. If you can't question this, then you are just going through the routine.
Are you a mid-career leader who wants to earn 1 crore or who wants to become a CTO, a CIO, a CDO, a CISO, a CFO, a CRO, or any other C-suite or CXO role?
The road to the CXO is something that I know and I can teach you. So don't delay. Click on the link below and I'm going to see you in the masterclass. Look forward to seeing you there.
So, what is the one thing, this is my first book giveaway, what is the one thing that you tell somebody to motivate them when they are not any less motivated?
Let's chat.
I'm with you.
Relax. We are one. Appreciate the appreciation. What is appreciation? Of course you're going to appreciate them. What is appreciation?
Appreciation is to acknowledge and praise what they have done.
Take him for a coffee. Okay?
You can do it.
You can do it. I got you back. Okay, what's that? Give me. Give it to us. Yeah. So it is about just saying that, listen, I gotta tell you, you're a super smart person and I have your back. Keep driving yourself. That's all a super good person who is, there's no lack of motivation for the person, but you can just like goes to the next level, right? Just a little bit of energy. Okay, what do you tell somebody who's demotivated to energize them? Okay? Okay? What else? You gotta get creative here. You can't be giving me random answers. I've been there. Okay?
Yeah, being empathetic.
Being empathetic. Who? Okay? Yeah. Empathy is the word. Empathy is the word, right? Can we just pass it? Yeah. What's your name? Rajesh. Well done. Yeah. So being empathetic. So what is the word that you use for empathy? I know you suck. I'm going to be sucking with. No, it's not that, right? You're gonna use. What's the word that you use for empathy? No. That's worry. I mean, don't ever say don't worry. Don't ever say don't worry, right? You better worry. If you're in a rat hole, you have to worry. You can't be not worried if you're in a rat hole. Then you're actually a loose manager. It's normal? Okay. Sorry, let's give him a chance from the back. Stepping into his shoe. Okay. So there is no one formula. I mean, all of you have your own method. Depends on your personality type. But I'll tell you what I do. If somebody is actually a rat hole, I mean, I can almost know this person is struggling, not able to get there, and all of that, right? What I actually tell them is, I sit with them and say, listen, there is no lack of talent here. Right? You are in this role because you're very talented. You are actually so good that I am surprised you're actually in this struggle. And you don't need me to tell you what needs to be done. You have to figure your own way out of this. But what I can tell you is what you're doing today is not working. So come back to me with another plan. I will not think for them. I will not sympathize with them. I will not make them feel little by saying you're okay. It's okay, beta. No. I only tell them you're so good. Compassion. You got to tell them that you have to trust them. That they know you're there with you because you're talented enough. But you got to give that little bit of energy to them, right? That energy is about that. So all of these things, when I talk about energy and I connect all of these things to one thing that you have to do in your life. And this is the hardest part. Being energetic is good. Using your energy really well is good. You walk into meetings with energy is good. And sometimes you walk into energy and, little things like, how many of you actually walk into a meeting and say, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning? Some of you do it, right? And actually try this, but don't do it like so much randomly, but try this. At least walk up to them, shake their hand and say, good morning, how was your day, how was your day? And a lot of people you're not comfortable doing it. Force yourself to do it. And I'll tell you what, it is actually, a lot of energy comes out of it. And when I walk in, I just like, even though I know, I call out like, Gagan, Prashast. They're like, how are you? Hey, you. It's just that, like somebody walks in and brings that energy level up, and especially you're the manager, you damn should do this. They'll be very happy that you actually call out their names in a meeting. And doesn't have to be like, oh, I call your name out and tell you something very good about you. No, just call their names out. That itself is great value, right? So that's about how to drive the energy. But where the energy comes from, I told you the duty box, happy box, idling zone. Where does that energy come from? It only comes from discipline. So there are some things I tell you, which is, how many of you, if you don't know this person, you don't deserve to be sitting in this room. You know about Virat Kohli? Okay, I'm glad. I would have been very disappointed if you didn't know. How many of you think his life is exciting? He has the boring and the most terrible life if you live his shoe. He gets up every day, same day, does the same thing every day, eats the same thing every day, sleeps the same time every day, next day morning, same thing every day. And when you see from outside, you look like, whoa, what a Virat Kohli, I want that life. If people are clapping for you, they're clapping for you because he lives that boring life. Can you live that boring life? If you can live the boring life, you'll get the claps. You'll get the acknowledgement. You want to have the fun life? You are the one clapping. Right? So you want to be you want to be the one who is getting clapped at, or you are the one clapping? The choice is yours. The answer is simple. It's discipline. And if you ever get a chance to read my book, it's on Amazon, please read it. I talk a lot about discipline. And discipline is about planning your day, planning the energy boxes that I talked about, planning how you're going to utilize that energy through the day. And you need to plan those things. You need to plan how you're going to spend time with your kid. You got to plan how you're going to go and play your 2-hour sport. You got to plan all of it. It's just not about work. Life isn't just about work. It's being energized through the day. And that's what is going to, that discipline is what's going to keep driving you. And I almost feel that as your age, like, you come to mid-40s, there's so much that gets thrown at you. Life throws so much at you, and you think that's what it is. I mean, ask a 60-year-old, he'll tell you how much more it's thrown at him. But when you at 40, 45, so much gets thrown at you. Family, kids are getting at their age, work, you're now struggling with a whole bunch of people. And there is so much gets thrown at you, and you start to feel like, oh, this is a lot. Only because you're not disciplined in the way you thought about this. If you can become disciplined, and I lived my life the same way for 25 years. I'm a boring guy, by the way. I'm a really boring guy. But in context of you come and play sports with me, I'm fun. You come and, sit in office with me, I can be fun. You come and spend time with my family is fun. But in the context of each of these buckets, I'm fun. But if you look at my day, no other person sitting in the room would aspire to do what I do. Get up at 5 o'clock, go through, sleep at 11 o'clock. Start to say same thing again. You'll say this life sucks. But each of these boxes, I know how to enjoy it within those boxes. Discipline. Nothing can beat discipline. You want to get to places, you want to become a leadership, you want to go there, you can read books and books and books and authors and books about everybody who is out there, and they tell you the same thing. It's discipline. Discipline is what drives success. It is not the other way around. So, and if I want you to take away 3 things, and I'm going to close out by saying this, and hopefully you can ask me a few questions if you wish to. 3 things. I talked about managing your energy, talked about being disciplined, and I'm going to talk about the last thing, which is about baggage. How many of you have friends, and you have close friends of people that you managed in the past? You consider them very close friends. You still spend like weekends with them, party with them, hang out with them. At office, you go out and have coffee with them, right? How many of you actually feel that relationship is the most important relationship for you to take forward? That's baggage. You gotta understand, there are things you have to leave behind. You want to keep going up, you can't carry this whole baggage with you. It's like climbing Himalayas, You can't carry your suitcase that you take 23 kilo, pull the suitcase and go up the Himalayas, right? You got to start leaving things behind. You're going to take only essential things as you go up the mountain. Have you thought about it? The higher you climb, the lighter you got to be. And this is the part that people don't understand about being promoted. This is why most people who get promoted never get promoted one more time in life. Because you did not understand you got to get lighter when you go up there. You keep going up, you got to get lighter. This is not about breaking relationships, it's about how you engage those relationships. Those relationships are never meant to be talking about office after that. It is never about talking about your colleagues after that. That's over. Why did you get to where you got to? Because there were 10 people, organization chose you. Now, you got to go and be that leader that top down they can trust you. That when I give you information that you know how to handle this information. And you don't have this quarterly of people that you go and gossip around. And that is about your branding. If you are actually the person going out into those meetings and you're standing up there and you actually are with your level of leadership, you speak well, you do well. I mean, personal branding is a topic by itself. Someday we can talk about it. But that is a very, very important part of it. And most people, I mean, when I say this, a lot of people think I am terrible. I'm like, I'll let go people and walk away in life. No, I don't do that. I just don't engage them in a way that I should be engaged. I engage them differently. Right? The same, I would sit and maybe talk badly about my manager whenever, and then when I get promoted, I just don't do that. Now I am talking about something else. I talk about their life, their personal life, their friendship. I mean, can we go and play something together? So that is a very important asset. And I think a lot of, I know a lot of you in the GCC here. And by the way, the impression that most of the crowd from the GCC leadership back in US, and I ran a very large GCC here as anthology, along with the sales side, I ran a GCC. And I can tell you that based on that experience, that a lot of US leadership team has this baggage thing is a very, very big part of their problem with Indian management. They do think that we don't think organization first, employee next. It's the opposite. And that feeling is there. You can't take it away. And that's because of the closeness, the bonding, the culture, and the way we all come together. And I think that's part of it. I mean, if globally, if they have to pick a leader to run the next setup, it's Indians actually don't like stack rank really well with that, especially if you're sitting in India. So I don't want to sound like close this chapter by doing something. So why don't we all bring out some energy in ourselves before we close? Can we get that?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mudit Saxena. I'm your Global CXO Leadership Coach. I help mid-career leaders like you build leadership skills so that you're able to get to very senior levels. And if you're interested in becoming a global CTO, a CIO, a CISO, a CDO, CFO, CMO, or any other C-suite role, then I'm the right person to work with. And there are links in the description below. Have a look, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. So I'm going to close out. Okay, why don't you all stand up? Okay. So here is what I actually tell. So when we do the huddle in terms of energizing ourselves, right? And when it's a theme called Power On that I bring on, right? So what does Power On mean? It's how I energize myself, how I power myself up. And you can do this physically, you can do it mentally in any way. But here is what we can do collectively together, right? So when I ask, when I actually call out for power on, and I want your inner sense to come out and tell me that you are powered on. Can you do that? And there is a pose for it. It's called powered on. You got to say yes. And you got to hold the pose like this. Why is that so important? No, photographs come good. Yeah. If you don't have the pose, then it's like all over the place, right? So hold the pose. We have the best. Come on, photographer, come be here. You can get a really good pose here, right? And so this is most important part. Come here. So come here. You can take a picture from here. So when I say powered on, you got to say yes, and you got to hold the pose, okay? And I want to see how much energy is there in the room, because this energy is going to take you through the day. Are you all ready for this? Yes. Okay. Are we powered on? Yes. See, there's so many bad. I mean, come on. You got to be a team player here. You got to show me the pose. I want to see the power on pose. Are you guys ready? By the way, I have made this in, some 60 countries. I've made people do the same thing. And I can tell you at the end of it, people actually just can take through the day just with this one move. the power on. Let's do this. Are we powered on? Yes! Wow, did you get the good pictures? Yeah, okay, I'll give you one more chance. Why don't you come here? Okay, let's try this. This is like the best picture of the day. Okay, let's see. Are we powered on? Yes! Oh, love you all guys. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Raj.
Yeah.
Can we have Mudit to hand over the goodies?
Hi, Raj. Thank you so much, for waking us all up. I know all of them have really enjoyed the Bangalore pubs. A lot of them have come out from, another city. But thank you so much. Much required. It woke me up, absolutely. A little token of our appreciation and super. I think from now on, at every annual conference, we're going to get you on a Sunday morning. We need people to get powered on. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, guys.